Imagine going back in time to an era in which video games still evolved rapidly, where each new release seemed impossible for the hardware of the time. The PlayStation 2 was not only the best-selling console in history, it was also stage for some of the most impressive games ever created. Titles that surpassed technical limits, redefined genres, and marked entire generations. Today, you will know some of the most beautiful and ambitious games of the PlayStation 2 games that, even with the limitations of the time, managed to deliver visual and technical experiences that seemed like something from another generation. Get ready, because this is a journey through the golden era of the PS2 God of War 2, released in 2007, already at the end of the life of the PlayStation 2. God of War 2 was simply unbelievable. For the hardware of the console, the game placed the player again in control of Kratos, the ghost of Sparta, in an epic journey against the gods of Olympus themselves. Right in the introduction, the player faced the Colossus of Rhodes, a gigantic battle that already showed the absurd level of scale of the game. Huge scenarios, detailed light effects, fluid animations, and colossal bosses that seemed impossible to run on the PS2. Each area was carefully built with monumental temples, detailed caves, and environments full of particles and effects. The artistic direction and the intelligent use of the cinematic camera gave the feeling of watching an interactive movie. God of War 2 not only raised the graphic standard of the console, it showed how far the PlayStation 2 could go. Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus was a completely different game from everything that existed. Instead of dozens of enemies, the game presented only 16, but each one of them was gigantic. The Colossi were true living mountains. The player needed to climb their bodies, hold onto in their structures, while the wind blew, and find weak points to defeat them. The open world was vast and silent, with natural landscapes that transmitted solitude and grandiosity. Even with little vegetation and few elements, the game created unique and memorable atmosphere. The dynamic lighting, the character physics, and the size of the enemies were extremely advanced for the time. Shadow of the Colossus did not impress only by the graphics, but by the scale and the feeling of being in something truly epic. Before continuing, leave your support. If you enjoy content about classic games, curiosities, and comparisons between generations, subscribe now to the channel and activate the notifications so you do not miss the searchin.com next videos. This helps the channel grow a lot and ensures that you do not miss any analysis like this. Resident Evil 4. When Resident Evil 4 was released in 2005, it completely revolutionized the survival horror genre. The over-the-shoulder camera, the more intense combat, and the cinematic action brought a new identity to the franchise. Visually, the game also impressed. The rural villages, the dark castles, and the military bases were full of details. The lighting effects, the dynamic shadows, and the enemy animations were extremely advanced. Each encounter was intense. Enemies appeared from all sides, and the player needed to react quickly. The use of particles, smoke, explosions, and weather effects elevated the experience even more. Resident Evil 4 was not only beautiful, it was revolutionary. Black was one of the most impressive shooting games of the PlayStation 2. Developed with total focus on action, the game delivered destructible scenarios, massive explosion effects, and an absurd sound quality. Each shot had impact. Glass broke walls, shattered, cars exploded, and debris flew across the screen. The dynamic lighting and the smoke effects created intense and cinematic battles. Even being an FPS on a limited console, Black seemed like a game from a future generation. The level of destruction and the visual effects were rare for the time. It was pure spectacle from beginning to end. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Grand Theft Auto San Andreas took the concept of open world to another level. The game presented 3 huge cities inspired by California and Nevada. In addition to rural areas, deserts, and mountains, the player controlled CJ, character who could swim, drive, fly, ride a bike, and interact with a world full of activities. The map was gigantic and full of details: weather change, day and night, cycle, dynamic traffic, and a huge variety of NPCs made the world alive. All of this running on the PlayStation 2, San Andreas was not only beautiful, it was gigantic and ambitious. Hitman Blood Money. Hitman Blood Money brought a more realistic and detailed approach to the stealth genre. Agent 47 moved with precision, and each scenario was carefully designed. One detail that drew attention was the physics of the character Tai, which reacted to movement. Small elements like this showed the level of care with the visual. The environments varied between luxurious mansions, casinos, and public events. Crowds, realistic lighting, and detailed animations made each mission unique. The game prioritized quality and visual realism. Final Fantasy XII. Final Fantasy XII arrived at the end of the save. PS2. Life and surprised. With its advanced graphics, the world of Ivalice was vast, full of detailed cities and open areas. The characters had highly detailed models, and the animations during battles were fluid. The real-time combat system within the map eliminated transition screens, increasing immersion. The artistic direction inspired by European and Oriental styles created a visually rich universe. Even compared to games of the next generation, Final Fantasy XII still impressed. Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 brought one of the most detailed visuals of the horror genre on the PS2. The character models were extremely realistic, with emphasis on the protagonist, Heather. The facial expressions, the lighting, effects, and the dark atmosphere created a disturbing experience. Detailed textures, closed environments, and the use of fog helped to increase tension. The game focused on atmosphere. Each corridor, each room, and each sound contributed to psychological horror. The PlayStation 2 was much more than a console. It was a revolution. Even with technical limitations, developers managed to create incredible visual experiences. God of War 2 brought epic battles. Shadow of the Colossus showed grandiosity. Resident Evil 4 revolutionized action. Black impressed with destruction. San Andreas delivered a gigantic world. Hitman Blood Money focused on details. Final Fantasy XII elevated the RPG. Silent Hill 3 marked horror. All these games proved that creativity and talent can overcome any technical limitation. And even today, years later, many of these titles still impress. If you enjoyed this journey through the golden era of the PlayStation 2, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. This way, receive the next videos about classic games, graphic comparisons, and curiosities that mark the history of video games. Also, leave your like, share with those who live this era, and comment which of these games impressed you the most, because some games do not age. They become classics.